I built an AI to edit my videos so I don't have to. The goal was simple: take a raw video, cut the silences and bad takes, and export it straight to the DaVinci Resolve. A quick update: actually, this video is edited by this AI itself, so you can know how well it had worked. And maybe I will have a section at the end explaining how well it did. I built it because I was wasting 2 hours a day just staring at waveforms. It drained all my energy. I tried building this before and failed miserably. But this time I have a plan. This time, rather than directly jumping into coding part, I took my pen and paper and started noting down the features. Then forced myself to divide them into multiple phases. Despite I have big plans like automatic B-roll addition, camera angle switches to hook views, but for the phase 1, I will ignore all of that. If you are an AI engineer or building a generative AI project, I have a huge finding coming up next that saved me. So stick around for that part. I decided to focus on the most boring part first. That is the rough cut. The plan was simple: take a video, extract audio from it, transcribe it, and let AI find the bad takes and cut them out. And crucially, export it directly to DaVinci Resolve. Because I use it for editing. I mean, it sounds simple, right? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Also, this time I promised myself to stick with the core part unless it's perfect and usable. And I hit the cookie cutter command and set the project. And I used FFmpeg for audio extraction because it is the package that everyone uses. And DeepGram for transcription. It gives $100 for free. Did I just mention an item from an upcoming video? That was the easy part. Then came the roadblock. Unlike last time, I stopped before sending transcript to the LLM. I realized I couldn't just dump the whole transcript into the model. It is too expensive and blows the context limit. Here I have a smart play. Transcript is first encoded before giving it to LLM, and its response is decoded to rough cut format that we actually want. I had a solution. My first instinct was to split the transcript into multiple segments by silences, and then give all these segments to our LLM model and expect the response in such a way that it would have the segment ID and the status if it is valid or invalid, and finally use a decoder to convert it into our actual rough cut model. Even powerful models like GLM5 and Claude also suggested this approach. Then I hit a wall. What if a segment contains both valid segment and a rambling mistake? The JSON approach falls apart here. So I tried something really crazy. I just gave the raw text to the AI and asked the result in JSON. I don't know what I was thinking, but I tried it. I tested it directly on chat application first. ChatGPT failed drastically, and Kimi2 on Grok was giving some random responses. I was losing hope, but then I tried GLM5 and Claude with extended thinking. They worked, but took so long. Taking so long on reasoning, meaning huge output tokens, which means super expensive. What if I stopped asking AI to reason about the structure and just asked to write it? And I exactly did the same. I asked LLM to simply return the transcript of what the perfect cut would look like. No JSON, no logic, just writing. And to my surprise, it kind of worked. Not just the heavy models, but lighter models like Qwen 32 billion, GPT versus 20 billion were also giving comparable results to the initial GLM5 response. I know Qwen 3.5 is out there, but Grok doesn't have it yet. So if you are also working on any generative AI projects, rather than blindly expecting everything from LLM, try to break it into smaller and simple tasks that they are good at, like coding or writing. And later you can add a deterministic decoder or a Python code or any other code to get the complex things out of that. I mean, it worked for me. Rest, it's up to you. After all, you can just pay more and expect the final answer, and you are done. Here, my decoder is considering the last take as the correct one. So it is comparing LLM's response with transcript, but from the end. Keeping it simple, With the logic solved, now I had to think about the front end part. After rejecting Streamlit, Tkinter, and a few other frameworks, I thought I would build a simple UI with React and FastAPI as a bridge in between. So I started working on FastAPI code. I thought I may regret later. So rather than forcing it, I just refactored the code, wrote a basic Python script to run the pipeline on a video, and used anti-gravity to make the fast API part. I was halfway there, but then the reality hit me. I was spending way too much time on something I didn't even want it. But guess what? After all this is done, I thought not to have any UI. Just wait. Before you leave this video, I just realized something. Since this tool was just an MVP and trying for myself, why not just create a CLI version? This way I don't have to waste another day creating a UI or managing states in React. And I'm really bad with front-end libraries. I kinda hate them. So Antigravity created a CLI version based on the FastAPI logic that I already had. With a few tweaks, it was finally ready to use on an actual edit. Since I have my old video recordings, I just tested it on one of them. But unfortunately, it didn't work as I have expected on the entire project. I had a few issues. So upon importing the project in DaVinci, here you can see a few gaps like they appear randomly over here. So you can see this. I mean, there are not that many, but still interrupts the project. I was so close, yet so far. I almost gave up on the project right there, but I took a breath, removed some unnecessary processing code, and asked AI to fix the DaVinci export script. The gap issue was finally solved, but the cuts were still slightly off. I knew the code was right, so the problem must be with the LLM response. Of course, I knew it after checking the visualization. I built a quick HTML viewer to see exactly what the AI was cutting and keeping. I refined the prompt one last time, getting help from GLM5 by JDA. By the way, it is comparable to Opus Open 6. And finally, I got a workable results. Since this is our CLI application, I will install this module in our base environment so that I just don't have to activate this environment every time. And we are done. After this, we can come to any of the videos we have. Let's assume we want to edit this video of mine. That is how to run LLM models on your phone. If you want to watch, our link will be in description below. So for this, we just have to come to our terminal. Because the order of video will be considered after sorting them in the alphabetical order. So you can just give the numbers at the starting, and all the important things will be saved over here in this directory. So this is a global space, like all the environment variables and all the stuff will be saved over here. So talking about the environment variables, you must have to have like deepgram API and Grok because I'm using them. In future, I will add other options also. And talking about the command, like process will just edit our video and won't export it. And export will just export if our video is already processed. But run will do both of them. First, it will edit the video and then it will export. And the best thing is that it resumes from where it has already done the work. I mean, like if you interrupt the process at middle, it will just continue from where it has already done and the next run. So to show you, let me just show you like a video editor. And we just have to hit the run and the directory of the videos all we have over here. Since I'm on the same directory, I will just hit dot and hit enter. So this is firstly adding all these videos. So first, like it has found this video and then it has sorted them and added in the list. And one by one, this will just do the transcription part, audio extraction, and then just LLM calls and all these things that I have explained. So let's wait a while. And yeah, this is the issue like I was talking about. So it hit the rate limit. So you just don't have to panic. Just wait a while. I mean, for a minute or so. And you just hit the same command again. So it has figured out that we have already processed like 6 items and we are here to do on the seventh video. And it did that. And it is like exporting it. And it has done the export part. And it has also given the visualization of HTML code. You can just come over here and just command click over there and open it on browser, and you can see all this script that it has kept and removed. So yeah. Similarly, for importing it in DaVinci, you just come over here and then just right click over here, transcript, and then you see import over here and then just import it. And on the same directory, you will see .oto file. Just import that. And here you can see like the final video it has edited. And yeah, it saved my hours of time. And this is the word that it has done the rough cut. To be honest, like I also don't have that much faith on this year. So like almost first 3-4 minutes, I edited it myself, and the clips were like so many, and it was almost around 25 or 30 minutes only for the main timeline, and I had like B rolls and stuff, the halfway talks and stuff. So that's like too long. So I thought to give it a try. So yeah, maybe it will just waste my 5-10 minutes more. So I just hit the commands uh, and to be honest, like it had done only 4 mistakes that I have figured out. Maybe like maybe more. I don't think, like, I just watched the video and I felt like everything was perfect over there. So yeah, this is the edits that I done. So actually, there were no gaps. Like, these gaps are the parts where I have deleted those segments. Those were the mistakes that I had figured out. So one was here. I mean, 3, 4 were there. So yeah, one was here, and it is really great. And talking about, like, for this part, I haven't watched this. So maybe I will just edit this part myself. But for the face cam, you can just check it yourself. I won't edit anything by myself. I mean, I will add all these B-roll clips and all. Rest, like, I won't change the main timeline. So you can just know how well it had done. Yeah, I'm really like, I'm really surprised how well it had done the editing part. And yeah, next time onwards, I'll use this at least for the face cam videos. So here is the final result. It is not perfect. It still has some rate limiting usage from Grok, and I need to add manual override feature. But for phase 1, it actually works. I'm still deciding if I will use this for every video yet, but it was a good learning experience. If you found this video interesting, hit that like button. And if you're also interested in similar AI projects, my AI learning journey, and useful AI resources, then hit that subscribe button. Until next time, you can check these videos, and I'll see you in the next one.